Tanse, hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, however you're listening to this podcast. Thank you for supporting the work that we do. The UDRCast is a full-time job, takes a lot of work. I have a lot of people helping me, supporting me behind the scenes, and basically really trying to support the people who listen to it. I do the UDRcast out of the passion of my heart, and sometimes, it gets hard to make it happen. But we as a team try to join forces and get the content out. So I'm just asking you from my heart, if you have an opportunity to maybe help support the podcast through donations, a cup of coffee a month, a cup of coffees a month. Check out my Patreon account. We're accepting subscribers and donations there. Also, if you want to click onto my website, BILLWARDLIFE, there's a button there, it takes you to the Patreon. And, if we're helping you or your family or understanding, just think about giving us a hand up so we can keep creating great content. And if you have any suggestions on what you might want us to talk about, leave it in the comments on the website. Thank you. Hi.
Welcome to the UDRCast, coming to you live from the recovery capital of Canada. Today we have two real special people in the house. Tamara Llewellyn.
Yep.
Good friend of mine. Still figuring out her last name. Every time I see it printed on paper, it fucks me up. But Tamara Llewellyn. And Stephan, what's your last name?
My name's Llewellyn.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where you got it. Because you guys were married.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
And so Tamara and Stephan were married, and they aren't anymore. But our podcast today is about parenting and recovery. So I'd just like you to, say hi, introduce yourself. Why don't you go first, Stephan? Where are you from? And, are you, an addict? And just give the listeners a quick little rundown of you.
Yeah, my name is Stephan. I'm an addict, an alcoholic. I'm from Calgary. I don't know, like what kind of stuff?
Kids, work?
Yeah, so, most of my life, last little while, I've worked in construction. I got 2 kids, both of them with Tamara, and before construction, I was just basically a petty criminal and an addict. So that's pretty much my career history.
And life's pretty good today.
Life is very good today.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Tamara.
Hi.
Hi.
So, what am I answering again?
Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Calgary.
You an addict?
I'm an alcoholic addict. Obviously 2 kids, like you said. I work in nonprofit and harm reduction.
Mm-hmm. Just giving back?
Just giving back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You love it, eh?
Yeah, I love it.
And 2 kids?
Yeah.
Their names?
Isis and Max.
Yeah, we were talking about ISIS before the podcast started, and maybe we'll get into that a little bit. But just so you guys know, just relax. If you fucking need to throw a joke out there or just be yourself, like you're pretty laid back prior to you getting behind the microphone. so just be like that.
Yeah.
Right? As much as you can. And we'll just let it go where it goes. So, so the podcast series is about parenting and recovery, but I'd like to kind of get both you guys, with me kind of intervening a little bit with questions and, curiosities about how you came to be where you are today, because life's really good today for both of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's life like for you today, Tamara?
It's great. I work. I have a good relationship with my kids. Obviously, a good relationship with Stephan. Family.
And what do you attribute to the life that you have today?
The steps.
The 12 steps.
The 12 steps, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you? Life's really good for
Life's
you today?
good, bro. Yeah, I live like a spiritual life, basically, right? And I have a good home. I just bought a house near my parents, which is amazing because I kind of want to look after my parents. They're getting older. Both my kids, my son lives part-time with me. My daughter lives full-time with us. I live with Tam. We do this to kind of still be a family,
mm-hmm.
And it's it's unconventional or whatever, and like some people have to wrap their heads around it, but it's been really good for us. Like we get along well. Like we work our programs, right? And if we have beef, we settle it like pretty quickly, and like
It's like living amends
like
in real life.
that's what I was gonna. Yeah, kind of like what we're doing. Like you can make a verbal amends with someone, but like what we're doing is like actual living amends with the whole family. Like we're kind of doing a redo.
Mm-hmm.
And like the same way with the way I parent, like I bring the like the program into it, right? I'm not trying to control what the kids are doing. Like I'm trying to, it's love and tolerance, bro. And like, yeah, I fuck it up, but like we have way better ways of catching it and talking through it, right? And correcting. So yeah, it's really good. It's the best life I've ever had.
You know what you guys remind me of? in our culture, family's like the most important thing, and you can almost do anything and the family will still support you. And, sometimes it's even a makeshift family because our connections are so broad in our culture. But, you guys are kind of like living the indigenous way of just like supporting each other and, making it work no matter what. And like your brother's involved in this family, right? And he helps you guys take care of the kids. And like, it's a big collective effort, eh?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have a pretty like my like, what do you call that? My like blood family, whatever. Like I have a tight family to begin with. So like I have a lot of support. Like I have a good example. Like that's how we do business. Like last time I got incarcerated, the second I was in there, like the family got together, figured out who was taking care of the kids, how they're going to pay for this, who's getting me a lawyer. Like I've been really blessed, and like, we've had a lot of help from family
Yeah.
to make this work. Yeah.
And Tam, like as a mom, and you lost custody of your kids, and then they got signed over to Stephan's brother.
Yeah, he adopted them.
Okay. And we'll kind of get up to that point as we go through the story. But as a mom and like having all this support, like outside of your family and people like really investing and taking care of your kids, has it always been easy for you?
It is now. I was actually really happy that my parents actually took the kids for a year.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just relieved more than anything. And I'm actually happy that they have kind of a village type situation.
So there wasn't a lot of guilt or shame when those things were happening?
There was a lot of guilt and shame in the beginning, but I was really, my last bottom, I was really humbled, and I was just grateful. Yeah.
Wild. Okay, well, let's kind of go back to the beginning-ish. Like, maybe you can start, Tamara, like how you got into using drugs and alcohol and how you met Stephan.
Okay. I started using alcohol when I was like 14, 15, and I was drunk the first time. I was drunk every other time after that.
You lived with mom and dad?
Yes. But it was maybe only about a year before I moved out on my own. So yeah, it was like pretty quick for me to...
Was it a party?
Yeah.
So you were just a teenager and you were just getting into the party mode?
Yeah, I just liked drinking. My family life was a little weird. I don't want to say like stereotypical family. It was like, it was like a movie family. But when you really live in that, it's weird. There's a lot of lies. We don't talk about anything. We don't talk about feelings. We don't talk about money. We don't talk about anything. So it's just what we look like on the outside that all that matters.
Brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have one younger sister.
Did you guys go to church or anything like that?
We went on Sundays
Yeah?
when I was a kid, yeah.
And you had to get dressed up and be on
Yep.
your best behavior?
Yep.
And so then you were in this like perfect little family and you started partying with your friends and you really liked it. Do you believe you were an alcoholic right off the bat?
I believe I was an instant alcoholic, yes.
How fast did it progress for you?
Within a couple years, because I had already moved out when I was 16, so.
How come?
My parents were very, very strict.
And where'd you move out to?
I moved to a friend's house at first, but her parents would have to keep coming and picking me up drunk somewhere. So then I ended up moving out with a way older man, and I lived there for a while.
And how old were you when you met Stephan?
24 or 5.
Okay, so you're a teenager bouncing around. Alcohol's already fucking up your life. And you move in with some older dude, spend some time there, and your disease, the disease of alcoholism, was running rampant already in your life?
Yeah. I was married actually before Stephan when I was like 21.
Oh, no way.
Excuse me. Yeah.
What happened with that marriage?
Well, for one, I was an hour late to the wedding, super drunk. And it was a big production wedding too. At like this place called the Wedding Pavilion. It's out by COP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that happened, and we didn't even hang out that night. Like me and my first husband, we didn't even. I think we had both cheated on each other that very night. It was not good.
Just a
I think we were actually
disaster.
married for 5 months, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then how'd you meet this guy?
I met Stephan. He had sold me some meth, and then I hadn't seen him again, and I was living alone in an apartment. I was trying to get sober at the time, and someone buzzed my apartment and said that they had crashed their helicopter and needed some water. So I let them in. It was Stephan, and he never left.
Wow.
Yeah, we just got along really well.
Okay, going to you.
Yeah.
Kind of walk us through your teenage years. What kind of household did you come up in?
Came up in a busy household. I got like 3 brothers and 2 sisters. I'm the oldest. It was pretty Catholic. It's kind of like, my household was like a little bit like weird. I think my mom was a little bit violent. She was raised by a real animal. So she had a lot of mental stuff going on, and like I don't think she could really handle. Like I really, when I think about it, felt really depressed back then, and I used to take the brunt of her shit, right? So, yeah, and like I started like drinking and shit at 12, like having sex, drinking, and doing whatever I could to like, escape home. They could put me on ADD medication. I would just save it. Me and my buddies would save our medication until Fridays, and then we'd just crush it all. And I was just, seemed like right from the get-go, I was one of those kids. And I did bad in school, and I was always in trouble. Cops were always bringing me home, or I was always in detention, fights, and just like, that kid, right? Like that kid, yeah. And then I think by 15, I was out the house. I stayed with my grandparents sometimes, or I'd stay with friends, or I'd, if I was in a jam, I'd try to find maybe family that would help me. But a lot of times I would just have to figure it out, and like kind of like shitty apartments and shitty jobs and shit like that, like petty crime and whatever. Like, yeah, that was pretty much.
Were you on the streets at all?
Yeah.
When you were
I did
young?
Oh yeah, I did some street stuff, and like when you're like, to be honest, when I was young, it was kind of exciting. It's kind of fun. I was never a good criminal, but I like action. Hey, I like the action of the streets. I like to get into it, and like I like the trouble, and so it was basically is where I belonged almost. Like there's people like me where I thought, funny now in the life I live, I found where I want to find the people like me, but back then that was the closest thing, right? Other shitheads. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you get into your 20s, where you at?
20s, I got a full-blown meth. I've had a full-blown meth addiction since high school. So by the 20s, I'm fucking wretched. Like there's not much I won't do to get gear and get money, right? I'm not the baddest person around or whatever, but I don't give a fuck. Like if you know what I mean? So I get Yeah, and I'm like kind of just selling what I can sell to support my habit and running around with badder people. I get locked up a little bit here and there. And yeah, I met Tam. I knew Tam through people I knew. And
And you were selling dope?
yeah, I was selling dope. Just like nothing. Sometimes I was making money. Lots of times I wasn't, right? Lots of times I was owing people money. So
Were you your best customer?
I was my best customer by far. Yeah, for sure I was, man. It was a joke, but I mean, yeah, what else? I don't know. Like,
So then you guys, you walk up to the apartment.
yeah. So I knew where she lived for some reason because I already sold to one of my friends there before. That's how I knew the apartment. So I was living in this place, in the basement of this place, where it's an organized group, were doing business, and like they got raided, and I escaped in the basement before fucking everything was going sideways with what I could, and I was like, fuck, I got nowhere to go again. And then I remembered I'm downtown, and I'm like, gotta get off the street because I don't feel good. I haven't slept for a while. And then I remembered, and I buzzed her place. She let me in, and we started partying. It was pretty good.
And when we were sitting in the green room earlier, you were like, fuck, people would see her starting to drink and they'd get scared and
she
want to
is a
leave.
savage. So it's funny because we would hang out with like people that did drugs and they kind of knew their way around a good bad time or whatever. But like I remember Tam breaking out real liquor, and I remember people like kind of getting nervous, like not liking the way she was drinking. She'd kind of get mean, and they would kind of want to leave. And I was like, that appealed to me. I was like, oh, that's kind of how I drink. Like I like that. It makes me. That's very similar. This is gonna be fun. Yeah, like someone that can drink like I drink. Like,
What was she like
I don't know.
when she was drinking?
She was fun. She was a little bit. She was silly, but she was also kind of. She was intense. I don't know.
Just a chronic too?
Yeah.
It's hard to believe and why I ask these questions because I know her, but I've only known her straight sober. And like, it's just so hard to believe that you were, pushing shopping carts on the streets and,
Yeah.
fucking just a total alcoholic where,
Such a bad alcoholic.
yeah, it's wild to
Yeah.
believe.
And like, I don't remember you ever being like super. I don't know, but I wouldn't want to fuck with you if I was like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't. Yeah, she would hold her ground. She could get live. Like I was probably a lot louder and did a lot more bullshit, but when it came down to it, she would get real too. Yeah, she was no joke. She was a force. Yeah, she was a fucking force. Yeah.
Yeah, I know another guy that knew her when she was in her addiction. He's like, she was really nice still, even back then. So you're still pretty nice, eh?
Yeah.
She was nice, but if
Yeah, if it came down to it.
Yeah.
she'd fuck you up.
Yeah. But it didn't usually.
No, not usually.
No.
Anyone tried to steal your booze ever?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you lose your shit?
Yes. It was somebody's mom,
No way.
and I think I broke her rib.
Serious.
That's what high five.
But-
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay. And then so you guys meet like that, and then he never left, and he still hasn't left. And
Well,
Well,
we've been
it's been a
separated for
long
7
road to get
yeah,
here, bro.
7
Like
years.
us being friends took us fucking hating each other. Like this is not what you see here is the
No.
work of a long serpentine snake path to get to where we are. Eh? Like
Yeah.
fuck. So yeah, we're partying together. We party ourselves right out of a place, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I contributed majorly to that. I moved in a bunch of my shitty friends, set up shop, but at that point it was just over anyway. And then I don't know if you were already intravenous before I came around.
No, I was not.
So I brought that dragon into the house. Hey, me and Jeff were pretty intravenous.
Yes.
And you were coming in, shooting up, and like she was just so that takes it to a whole new level, right?
mm-hmm.
So that kind of helped us fast track to the bottom a little faster. Helped her. I was already well on my way, and then I don't know why.
Because we got kicked out of the apartment that we were in
Right.
into the alley.
So
And then
what's new though? Like, what was different?
You took off to somebody else's house.
Yeah.
And I had nowhere to go, so I
Yeah.
went to my parents' house
Yeah.
and said I was going to get sober.
Right.
And then
That we talked about it before. Like we'd have those, those lucid moments when you're fucking coming down long enough, and someone's like, "I'm sick of this shit." And then she'd have a good cry and I miss my parents, and fucking like I'd think about like fuck, I miss my brothers. Like I didn't see family. I kept away, right? So we'd have those moments. We both knew that part of us wanted out. But then it's like real life, like at the end of that trip, real life, you got to get gear. Like you're starting to get straight and you can't fucking take it, right? So, but then, yeah, when I remember now, you actually said you were getting sober and you actually went to rehab and I couldn't fucking believe it. So I was like, well, I got to do it too. That's what I said I would do, right? So I did it. We hopped into a quick 28-day spin dry.
But we did get arrested first for robbing the Sev because we needed.
Was that before or after?
We were going to get clean and get jobs, so we went and robbed the Sev.
We didn't rob.
We didn't rob.
Shit.
Sorry, we stole
Settle down.
laundry detergent and a sandwich.
That was a silly day.
Yeah.
Like 6 cop cars came and rolled us up, and I'm like, it's no fucking way. It's for us. We didn't even do anything today. Yeah, but we had a bunch of other, whatever. Yeah, no, like, yeah, we tried to do, so anyway, we tried to get honest, and so we did rehab. We already did rehab by that point. And then we're living at fucking Delicia's house, and they're still selling dope and smoking dope and pushing dope, and we're trying to fucking just live in the basement dry and, like, tough it out.
No kids yet.
No.
See, at that point, we had one on the way, right?
Yeah.
So it was, like, kind of the thing. But we ended up having a miscarriage while we were there. Probably a good thing. I don't know. But probably grace of God. But because we were probably toxic at the time still.
When you were pregnant that first time, do you remember any of the feelings of what it was like?
No.
No?
No.
You were just too messed up?
Yes.
Were you using during that pregnancy?
No.
No?
Nope.
But you were just out of it.
Yeah, we were sober, but not.
Yeah.
We were just not using at the time.
Sorry.
Do you remember what it was like when you had the miscarriage?
I don't.
No emotional, like,
No.
deconstruction and, all this.
It was all just really stressful at the time, so.
It was almost like a relief.
No, it wasn't a relief. I was actually really sad, but.
Yeah, you cried for days, bro.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I did.
It was a sad thing for us, yeah.
Okay.
Then we got jobs, moved into a basement suite. We were on a floor with a sheet, and we got a space heater, and we were like, that was a good investment.
We were so ghetto at that time because when we were out of the game, we lost everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't make really money, and I didn't know how to work. And yeah, we get like hand-me-down shit. We were sleeping on a floor, and then we finally got
A space heater.
We were thrilled. And then we got shitty jobs.
Yep.
And then, then
we started hanging out with his grandpa, his opa, and his opa. No, then I got pregnant. No, hold on.
So what happened is we both got jobs. Then we started paying rent somewhere else where they weren't using dope. We met another couple that you met at the coffee shop. You met the girl, and they were like, they wanted to have a house that was also free of crystal meth. And we were like, oh, cool. We need to do that too, but we don't know anyone else. So we kind of all lived in this place, and we all kind of worked. And that's when we got pregnant, or you did. I didn't get pregnant. And then...
but we were already going to get married at that point, because I told you the day before we were getting married that I was pregnant.
Yeah, that's true. That happened. So anyway, we're living there, and then we're going to get married. And then we do. And then, and then we had a kid, and that was amazing. And then we moved to the suburbs. I got some help from family to get a down payment.
And you're sober?
Yeah, and we're dry.
Okay.
The thing of it is, like, I didn't know what sober was. I don't think you did. We went to spin dry treatment. I did some smart recovery.
Yeah, we went to a few smart recovery.
We went to some big NA meetings.
Yep.
But I don't know if it was the meeting. Now when I think about it, I really don't know, because I'm aware of how, like, my mind totally makes my reality sometimes, right? Like, and I don't know if I just couldn't hear the good. Mm-hmm. But all I heard was a bunch of fucking complaining, and I was like, I want nothing to do with these people, right? So we just didn't really go.
Yeah.
We tried at first. We're like, this is what people do, but we weren't getting nothing out of it, because we weren't participating, right? Just sitting there and listening and didn't hear nothing. Not like I ever had a sponsor or ever tried anything, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so anyway, so we're sober, dry. We have this, and like we all...
Well, then I got pregnant.
Yeah.
And I was kind of instantly just so happy and like very addicted to being pregnant.
Good call.
The baby.
Good call.
Yeah. Like very addicted. Mm-hmm. Like to the point where we didn't have a relationship anymore, because I just had a baby, spent all the time with the baby, co-slept with the baby. no attention to you whatsoever.
And I fucking bought into this mother culture bullshit. Like I fucking became a turbo provider. Like just fucking people around me, like, just put your head down and work. That's what you got to do, right? And I was like, yeah. And I was stressed out. We had to somehow pay back for this shit and buy this house and pay for bills. And like, I'd never been in a responsible life before. And it was a lot, dude. And like, I had this kid, right? And mama, and I got to make it happen. So I just became this workaholic lunatic. Yeah. And I picked like the job with the pretty much the most hours, the worst conditions. And like, you know what I mean? And I went for it, like, be a man. And like, fucking, I bought into the work culture too. Like, you know, you don't even report an injury. You never take time off. You just work. Never mind. If you really cared about your family, you'd be here working to make that money, right? And I believe that dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it made for a really rough home life. Like, I wasn't there, and she was in her own little bubble. And like, we both were like putting in a lot of work on both sides, but not together. And it was like hard. Like a lot of resentment built up, hey?
Lots, yeah.
Fuck.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so fast forward, and then one of you started using.
No, then I got pregnant again
Okay.
with Max, and I don't know how far, like, our marriage was like not too good. So then when I had Max, I was tired, worn out. He was never home. And he was always very grumpy and angry. And I started drinking wine with some of the moms at Isis's kindergarten. And I thought, oh, it's just Fridays. Like, I totally wasn't worried about it. But I was an instant alcoholic after that. Went from like a bottle of wine to 2 bottles of wine a day to like 4. And then I was like, well, I might as well just go back to vodka. And yeah, it was pretty quick. And I maintained for 2 years or something, but
No way you managed to drink for 2 years without totally burning it down and losing your kids?
I lost my kids after the 2 years.
Right.
Yeah. And I had gone to a rehab in between there. And then I started drinking.
And a detox.
And a detox, yeah.
Yeah.
But I started drinking before I even left the second rehab.
And what were your parents thinking the whole time, all this, like you're raising your kids and you're drinking, and it's probably noticeable to some degree, no?
We both spent a lot of work hiding that shit. First, you hid it from me, and I kept the rest of the family out of it. Like, we would just handle our shit, like, you know what I mean, internally. It was like,
Well, I'm like really fun when I don't drink way too much. So people didn't complain too much, yeah.
Watch that camera.
I was like, I won't move.
Right.
yeah, but you'd wait. You were a nighttime drinker and a day sleeper is basically what was up.
Yeah.
You'd wait till I got home from work and then start getting into it.
Yeah, but drinking was like, it just made everything so much easier. Like I wasn't worried about anything anymore. And that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you got 2 kids, and now you're off on a spree again?
Yeah.
And where are you at this point? You're doing drugs, not doing drugs?
Holy fuck. So for me, yeah, like she said, like, I want to pick at that too. That's so bad. Home life is shit, basically. It's trash. Like, I actually, when she had Max, me and my daughter start getting a good relationship because we're both, like, mom was tired. Mom was cranky and tired a lot. So me and the girl, we would start doing things like going swimming. We would get groceries together. We would do a lot together. So that was pretty good. There was some. But anyway, yeah. But I would, I didn't really like my home life. I was like, this isn't what I wanted. I realized I didn't like work. I didn't like anything I got into. It was like, and I don't know, some of it's what it was, and some of it's like the malady. You know what I mean? Like, fucking having a house isn't that cool. I don't actually like mowing a lawn. I don't want to pay for this shit. I don't like working this job. I don't like going to this home where just like all I do is make money, come home to a bunch of people that like don't even fucking like me. You know what I mean? That's how it sounds in my head, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like slowly but surely. Like, I remember one time, one of my favorite relapses started with your dad. Your dad sat me down. We were at the back porch of your grandpa's house, and he's like, "You weren't an alcoholic. You were just a kid." I'm like thinking, like, yeah, you're right. I was a lot younger, right? Best thing you could tell me is have a fucking beer. You're always so like, relax. And I did, and it was awesome. and you know how it goes, right? And then like quickly I'm drinking again. And when I drink, then I like, it doesn't take long and I'm thinking of like drugs. Yeah. So I would like run away in the middle of the night, get fucked up. Like I didn't know anyone, but of course I'd find where I had to go. And it would like, and I'm one of those, my sprees are quick and ferocious. Usually last about 3 to 5 days, and they usually end in handcuffs or tragedy or whatever. So I would do that sporadically. Hey, like for like,
And then you'd stop.
and I'd stop hard.
And
I'd
then
be
you
a
drink cough
lunatic.
syrup every day.
Yeah, I would do anything but real drugs too. Like I would live off painkillers, muscle relaxants. If you had like what are those, codeine, fucking Tylenol, like anything that wasn't real dope, I would do just to keep the edge off. And like, but I would always run away again on a tear. Yeah, and it would be like, yeah, I'd fucking
Come home covered in blood, no idea what happened, and we would just be washing stuff off and hoping that
cops charged. Yeah,
Yeah.
like listening to the news, like I lose my machete. I had a truck machete for some reason, and I lost it. And I remember scanning the news, and there was 3 stabbings that night, and I was like, fuck. But like no one ever came, like it wasn't me, I guess. But I don't know, like as I was living in this fucking fear, because I knew I was crazy, and I knew the kind of shit I got into, but like, I had to leave town a couple times. I had a really understanding boss that was wild. He's such an alcoholic. He was like, yeah, I get it, man. Just lay low for a bit. Come back, fucking wild. Like, no, eventually, though, like, her shit got to be every day. And it got to be, like, all day, every day. And it got to be the point where, like, you were so fucking drunk all the time. Like, these kids weren't going to school. She couldn't do it. She couldn't go see the other, like, it was obvious, right? So she couldn't do it. I think. I don't know. Is that why?
yeah, or I was too hungover and the liquor store wouldn't open soon enough, or
So she's not bringing them to school. She's calling in sick. I don't know this shit because I'm at work. If I'm not on a tear, I'm at work, right? And so I don't know what's really happening. It's kind of, don't tell dad you weren't at school, right? And of course, the kids fucking don't know, Yeah, of course not. And then I see this letter in the garbage one day, like hidden under a bunch of shit. It's from the fucking school, and it's like Child Family Services. We know fucking, like there's some shit going on. We look, the attendance doesn't make fucking sense. You need to fucking get a hold of us, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And then it kind of dawned on me, like, Tam would pick fights with me every day as soon as I got home. She did that so that I wouldn't fucking get too close to her. I wouldn't follow her upstairs. She lived upstairs with the kids, basically. And in there was just empties and empties and empties in the closet. I didn't know any of that shit because I would like, we were at such odds. I'd just come home, yeah, fuck you too, eat some food, play with the kids, go to bed in the basement. And I didn't know, right? Once I see this letter, like, it's like, oh, I start realizing how fucking deep this has gotten. And then we're fucked. And then we're in a situation, we tried to fucking detox at home. I took some time off work, watched the kids. So silly. Of course, she was like, had a stash and she was getting drunk or found a way to keep getting liquor and fucking didn't work out. And then we tried like detoxes, rehabs, like, just nothing would stick, right? Yeah.
Holy fuck. Pretty crazy. Anyway, let's kind of fast forward to, okay, you guys have these kids. You guys are both fucked, and
Yeah, we're fucked.
the kids get taken away.
Okay,
No.
first, she had to go. That's basically what they
Okay.
said. They said I became the, because on paper, I'm the fucking sober parent, right?
Okay.
My shit is somehow less obvious unless you live with me, right? I'm not an everyday, yeah, but like not like that, right? Like I'm not drunk every day. So so I have the kids, it's just me and the kids. And that's like that for a while. She gets worse and worse. We go see her sometimes, whatever. We fast forward to you want to fast forward to like if you fast forward hard enough, there's a point where I'm having a standoff with a SWAT team with level 4 plates on and an AK-47. And the kids are running out of the house for their lives. And that's like the day after New Year's.
Let's go there.
Yeah, right. So that's what's up. So I move in after a while. I can't do this parenting on my own. So I do the most reasonable thing anyone can do, right? I ask mom for help. She helps a bit. And then I move in a shitty girlfriend. And the shitty girlfriend has a habit. And I'm like really up, like I'm living this life with, again, same thing. I got this person that, she's disappearing. She's on, and it's fucking frustrating and it's tough. And I'm using more and more because I can't handle all the stress. I've never dealt with anything, Tam, the kid, like nothing, right? I'm tanking quick. I'm doing longer benders. I'm using gear in the house now. And then the last day, this is kind of a crazy miracle. So day after New Year's, a bunch of boys come over to my house to party, which is unusual, but I was like, fuck it, who cares? I don't care about anything. So we're partying in the basement. They're like, oh, can we play with your guns? I'm like, of course you can. I have a lot of guns. And I was like one of those conspiracy lunatics. So we were loading all these guns, and my buddy loads one magazine for the AK, but he puts all the rounds in backwards. That's just important to note. Anyway, the party's over. They all go home, and then that shitty girlfriend comes later on that morning to yell at me about something because we kind of broke up. And we get in this argument, and I'm pretty wasted.
And the kids are there?
Yep, kids are upstairs sleeping. Yep, pretty wicked. Oh, yeah, kids are upstairs minding their business this whole time. I think ISIS came down and told me and the boys the night before to maybe shut the fuck up because it was so late. And we were like, oh, sorry, boss. Like fucking idiots. And then, so I get in this domestic, right? And eventually I'm just so sick, sick of this shit. I think I remember, it's pretty tough because I was pretty wasted, but I loaded a handgun and I gave it to her, and I was like, here, I'll give you a fighting chance. You got 38 seconds to get out of the house before I start killing people, right? I was out of my mind. And they run away, and I think she took the kids, and I think she told the neighbors to get help, they're running because I'm fucking wild. And thing is, I don't blame them, right? I get a little heated. And then I know the cops are coming. And my plan was just to blow my brains out once the kids were 18 anyway. So I get this idea. I'm like, fuck, I'll die killing cops. Wicked, right? It'd be like the movies. It'd be sweet. So I fucking, So I know it's on. And in my state though, I had a bunch of different mags for that AK, but I grabbed that one that my boy Denny loaded backwards, and I put it in, and cops were there. I was at the window and I was ready to pop off, but I fucking racked it, and it fed, but it fed backwards and it jammed, and it was so fucked. And I just crushed this bottle, so I was getting more and more blacked out, and I was less able to fix this situation. So that's the Christmas miracle that saved my life, that weird set of events, right? And then I woke up and handcuffed to a table somewhere, and kids were gone, and I fucking totaled my life.
So had he not loaded that AK mag backwards, you probably would have
100%. I was living in the movie. I was ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're fucking crazy, motherfucker, eh?
Dude, I was wild. Full of self-pity and fear and anger and all the things that make a guy nuts,
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's fast forward to you guys having no kids and trying to get sober and getting sober, getting the kids back somehow.
So I had been on the street this whole time.
What did that look like?
I was in and out of, I was in from the cold. I was at the drop-in. I was at random people's houses.
Didn't you tell me a story? Your mom would come to where you were living and put sandwiches in the chain link fence for you? Yeah,
I was living in a parkade, and my mom she knew where I would set up my bed for the night, and she would leave sandwiches for me.
Wow.
It was cute. And they tried to visit me with the kids a couple times, but I would try to take the kids dumpster diving, and I wasn't really thinking straight. And then I ended up, at the end, what happened, how I got off the street was I ended up pregnant. I was 6 or 7 months pregnant. And I got told that the baby was not well. It was basically brain dead. Its heart didn't work. So I had to not continue the pregnancy, but I had to go to the hospital to give birth, go into labor and everything. So it was a miracle because I did that. And then that gave me 2 days sobriety, which is just long enough that I could get into rehab. And somehow I got into rehab in those 2 days.
And that child
did not make it.
Okay.
No.
So you went to rehab.
Yep. And I was there, and Stephan came and visited me, and he looked really good.
I came to visit you way before that, Turkey.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's when we started talking about like the kids and where they were.
One of the most fucked up things and I've seen some fucked up shit, but I went and visited her in the hospital after she gave birth to that baby, the dead baby, right? And because I got a call from a mutual friend that was like, yo, this is what's up with Tam right now. And I was like, fuck. And I didn't really like her too much, and I didn't really trust her too much, but I, like deep down we're homies, and like she's the mother of my kid. I do love her, right? So I was like, fuck, I gotta go see her. And I went and seen her, and she was holding that like stillborn and like showing me like, look, it had perfect teeth. And she was so fucking checked out. Like, it had a perfect face, and it was so happy, and like all this shit. And I remember like one of your shitty like guys was in that hospital room with you. I just like, get the fuck out of here. And I just sat with her, and I'm like, I don't know, man. All my like anger turned to like, fuck, I felt so bad for her. I just seen how much pain she was. Like, she was in so much pain she wasn't. You know what I mean? I could really see how fucked she was. And I was like, I just was like, fuck, I got, support her. Like, we got to get you out of this. And she was talking shit about rehab, but I was kind of like, yeah, right. But she did do it.
Yeah.
Just fucking wicked. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. I just remember that. I just remember. I totally forgot about the hospital. That was fucking wild.
And so you're in rehab. Was this your last time?
Yep.
And how'd that go?
I loved it. It was a nice, clean bed, food. The people were cool. I was really happy to be there. I was very desperate. I couldn't even believe I got in. So
Why?
Because I had tried to get into rehabs before that, but I couldn't anymore because I couldn't stay sober long enough to get in.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this one was just because I had the baby and I had 2 days in the hospital, and they didn't drug test me right when I got there. Yeah, and it was.
Were you sober, Stephan?
Yeah. So I got sober just a little bit before this. That's a huge reason why I visited. I'd already been like, I was out on bail, and the only place they'd let me live was with my parents because they said I was unstable. They didn't trust me on my own. At the time, I really resented that. I was like, fucking full-grown man with my fucking parents. I'm fine, but I guess it's good, right? And like, I was not allowed to see the kids. Child Family Services was like, yeah, get fucked. I tried everything, being nice, threatening, didn't matter. They were like, it's not happening. Like, look at you. So, yeah, man, like, I couldn't work, couldn't do nothing. And I for once, like, I've been in a lot of trouble in my life, and I've had like guns pulled on me, and I've been like, in places where I was going to die, but like nothing was like losing my kids. I remember when Tam was gone, they would cry all the time, Mama, right? Miss Mama. And I would always like, fuck, it was heartbreaking. And I'd be like, yeah, I just tell them like, yeah, I know, like maybe she'll come around, maybe she'll get better, but like I'll always be here for you, don't worry, right? And then once they were gone, I realized how I fucked them over, and like that kind of guilt, and like, yeah, they're the only thing I actually really cared about, aside from my own, fucking issues. And it hurt bad enough that I was like, hey, I gotta get better. And like a guy I know from work, like he snapped me up as soon as he found out I was on bail, and he's like, we're going to a meeting. I'm like, okay, I'll do, Yeah, and it was totally different. It was just this meeting where they're like, yeah, if you don't have a sponsor, come see the chair after the meeting. And I just saw the chair, and I was like, yeah, I need a sponsor, right? And I didn't choose a guy. They gave me a guy, and I just did what I was told. So anyway, I'm just getting slammed through the steps by this thumper, and he's doing it fast. So I'm sober, and I'm seeing miracles. It's working for me. Like, it's happening, right? And I'm meeting people around me that I know are wild, but they're clean and sober. And then I start to kind of realize, like, this shit works, right? Like, I'm starting to feel like hope, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, yeah, I would try to track her down. I'd find her in like garages, like not really trap houses, but like sorted spots. Yeah, and then I found her at the hospital that time, and then and like
You'd visit me at rehab.
I would visit her in rehab too, and just like encourage her and like take her to meetings. And you have to bring one of your crazy boyfriends sometimes, but that's okay, it's better. And then yeah, like I always think about Tam whenever I think of like, does this fucking program work? Is God real? Is all this magic legit? Like it is. Like I know she doesn't remember. Like I seen her with her shopping cart. I brought the kids to see her too. Like I know you don't like. She was a fucking space cadet. Like she was fucked. And I like not. And like when I found her too, like she was living rough. Like she's been through some fucking shit that like she's hard to kill, man. Hard. I can't believe she came back from it all and like came back like better than I've ever known her. Like she's never functioned as well. I'm not saying you were not good,
No,
but like,
it's true.
she's like absolute best I've ever seen her. So
And then,
sorry, I just fucking jumped
No.
all kinds of shit.
no, that was fucking deadly, bro. I fucking loved it. Paints a beautiful picture of where she's come from and where you've come from and where you guys both are now. And like it's a pretty fucking horrific story, you guys. Like for real. Like how you were and what you would tolerate and what you would put up with in your own beings to like get drugs or booze, and how much that shit had you by the throat, and how much your anger had you by the throat, and like a lot of your pain and you know, and where you guys both are today. Like it's a testament to like this shit does work. And yeah, it was good, man. So you guys with the kids, you getting the kids back. Like how did this happen?
So his brother adopted them. I got out of rehab.
This was a legal move.
Yeah, but
So yeah, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, like, when I started getting to visit them, it was just once a week, Wednesdays, and that was like that for like a year.
That was before I could even see him. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was just really happy to see them. But it was crazy seeing them for the first time and seeing how big they were. Just having like almost no memory of the in between, like from when I remember them. And then
Yeah, like 4 years.
yeah. And then yeah, I just started visiting them Wednesdays, and then I started to get to see them weekends, and then Brian would go to town, and I'd get to stay at the house. It was a slow process, but in hindsight, it was quick. Like, can't rush these things. And then just this August, I moved in with Stephan and Isis.
When did you, Tam, because you acknowledge that you were a mess, right? Mm-hmm. And Stephan had just finished saying that, like, he's never seen you function this well, and you've never seen yourself function this well. Was there a moment in, like, this journey where you were like, holy fuck, look at me. Like, I'm doing it, or I've changed, or I can be different, or was there moments? A moment?
I feel like that all the time, but the one time I remember so well was I had just gotten out of rehab, kind of had the steps to, I think, like the treatment center 6-7. And I decided to move in to an Airbnb, like out of treatment, with this guy that was beating me up all the time. And Stephan had showed me your book study, and I just started watching it, and then it was like all the steps made sense. And I was like, what am I doing here? And so I called Oxford, and they had a bed for me that day. And I just left, and I never turned back. I just really got into the program and just did things when people, I didn't, of course I wanted to see my kids all the time and just jump into everything, but I just did what I learned off your book study, my sponsor, the program, Stephan, and things just keep getting better all the time.
So the book study was a big part of your...
The book study was a huge part.
That you learned from Stephan about.
Yeah.
Why was the book study important?
Because I couldn't hear things from people who didn't make sense to me. And you made sense to me. Out here you say, fuck and God in the same sentence. And I'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Was it because fuck and God in the same sentence, those were like polar opposites, and like
Yeah.
people don't do
Like
that?
I can't be doing these steps if they're anything to do with God. I thought I had to
I
be.
remember you saying to me a couple of years ago, we were chatting, or a year and a half ago, and you said, if you didn't say fuck, I might not be here, or something like that.
It's
right?
true.
It's fucking wild.
Everything was kind of cheesy to me at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, you know, as I've been around recovery now for quite some time, and I've been doing this, I think this is my 8th or 9th big book study, and I'm coming up on 10 years sober. The one I'm currently doing is either my 9th or 8th. And that's like almost one a year, but it hasn't been one a year. I didn't do my first one till I was in year 3. And I remember the very first big book study I did with a guy who had been doing them with other old timers for many, many, many years. And as I would look through the literature with him and I would say, this is what I think that means, he would be like, no, that's not what it means. And I'm like, dude, that's what I think it means. He's like, well, no, I've been doing these with old timers for all these years, and this is what it means. I'm like, fuck, it's all subject to interpretation, bro. And I did the big book study with the guy, and I finished it. And I was like so fucking relieved to have that first one over and under my belt, because I knew that I wanted to do them by myself, or at least, you know, the way I wanted to do them, because I just knew that I saw certain parts of that literature differently than other people. And, you know, and over the years, so many people have said to me, my big book study changed their fucking life, right? And so, like, it's a thing, right? And I'm really grateful that I'm able to help people like that, because that's why I do them, right? And I remember the first, like, 2 or 3 I did, I had to spend all my money, and I had no money. I spent all my own money buying the chairs and, like, tables, and I'd have, like, $60, and I'd need, like, one table, and tables were like $59, so I'd go buy one table and fucking have like $10, right? But I just dedicated my whole early life to these big book studies. I remember one time I was even gonna be homeless. I was getting kicked out of, or I had to move out of my house or something. I can't really remember. And one of the old timers in the meetings found out about it, and he took me aside. He says, "What the fuck are you putting these big book studies more important than your life? You got to focus on your own life and all this shit." And I was just like, I knew he didn't understand what I was doing. And so I just kept focusing on the big book studies and, you know, helping guys. And everything worked out, right? And it always has worked out when I make that number one. And you know, and no disrespect to this guy, but he's not the old timer that I would want what he has anyway, right? But anyway, you know, I just appreciate that the big book study did help you, and I'm grateful to hear that. I needed to go on that little rant, right? And so you're getting the kids back. You're getting the kids back. You guys are starting to build a different bond. Mm-hmm. Let's hear.
Yeah, so she gets to see the kids before I do. I still have a year. I'm not even allowed to see them. The adoption happened to get Child Family Service out of the picture because they were going to delay it forever. We figured, my brother, whatever, we figured a way around them, right? So it was good. As long as they were in his care, and he was like, you know, responsible for overseeing how we got to whatever, right? Visitation and shit. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was good. Like, you and I became better friends, right? Yeah, more and more. We talked more and more. We hung out more and more, and like we had more in common. Just kind of like I did my amend. Like I kind of sneak attacked her with amend. Probably wasn't that. Probably like it was probably a little selfish, but she had a lucid interval where I hit her with an amend and tried to tell her like what I was doing and doing. You know what I mean? Just like things that made this relationship like start to make a real relationship with someone. Like we had a lot of history, but we never communicated. Where the fuck? We didn't even know how. I didn't know how. Mm-hmm. And so that's good. And then I'm allowed to start seeing the kids a little bit. First I got a little bit with supervision, but then we got outside of those government agencies. But like, so I first got to see the kids, and I didn't know. I wasn't allowed to talk to them. I wasn't even allowed to talk to anyone to talk to, like no third party. So all I knew is they were alive and happy, but I didn't really know how they were. And I remember I came to the door and I saw ISIS, and I just, it's funny when you like get sober for a while, you start get like years later, like I never used to cry or nothing, right? But like, just like, it was like 6 months ago, I was loading plates on the bar, weeping, remembering this memory. Then I just saw Isis, and I was like, Freckles, and she was like, Dad, and I thought she was going to hate me. But she just came running up, eh? Fuck, and they love you anyway. Mm. Yeah, my little guy is a little slower. He was more fucked up. He was a lot younger. He lost his mom real early, and he lived with a way crazier dad. Isis knew me when I was maybe a little less wild, right? She trusted me more. My boy, he was always like super worried how I was. Like, oh, I love you, Dad. Are you okay? What's the matter, Dad? Like, always like really hyper. Like, he was hyper aware how I felt because he's worried if I,
Mm-hmm.
I heard that he'd always had, like Brian told me, he always had nightmares that cops were going to kill me. And like, just, I can't imagine what it's like to be my boy. Like I remember one time, we were in the mall, and I was like, I don't know what I said, but offhand, I'm like, trust me, son, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, why would I trust you? You're the kind of guy that goes to fucking jail. And it floored me, dude, because my whole life, having dirt under your nails and like taking your own licks was like admirable. Like, trust a guy that fucking shuts his mouth and does it. You know what I mean? My boy didn't think that was fucking cool. I was a fucking loser, man, and like in a loose cannon, and he didn't trust me. So I prayed, and I've had really good mentorship, man, around it. Like, some people were like, dude, it might never come around. You might have to fucking just accept and be like the best you can be to him. And like, that's kind of what it was. And like, I had to learn to be the dad he wanted. I guess I had to learn to become vulnerable with my boy, which was really hard for me. That kid was like, how old was he? Like 10? 10, 9,
Yeah.
10? And he wanted a fucking kiss on the lips. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, but my dad never hugged me and shit. Like, it was wild. Like, I didn't know what to fucking do. I just like pushed him away. I'm like, the fuck out of here, right? But like, I had really gentle people in this program, like, walk me through a lot of shit that were really, they took the time, and they were like, just, why don't you just be the dad he needs, right? Like, what fucking, like, I don't know what all my, like, anyway, long story short, like, took a year and a half, maybe 2 years almost, eh? But now, like, we're tight, finally tight, like I pray about it all the time. He doesn't live with me yet, but I think he will. I hope he will. He hangs out a lot.
Does he live with Brian?
Yeah.
So Brian and Isis?
No, Isis is with us.
Isis lives with us.
Okay. So Brian has the little guy, Max, still.
Yeah.
And the hope is that eventually he'll come.
Yeah. We get him like weekends and Wednesdays and whenever he's
Holidays.
free time. And yeah, whenever Brian goes out of town, we get him like.
Right. Has that been hard on you guys? Or is it just part of the collective community way that you just accept it and
Yeah.
it's going to work out however God needs it to work out?
Yep. Max is super happy with Brian, and I'm happy that he's happy. He's doing really good in school. They weightlift together. They go snowboarding.
Mm-hmm.
We see him a lot, and I've had a really good time getting to know Isis.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, there's those two finally bonded. That was
Yeah.
magical. Yeah,
we have
that
car
was
rides to
magical.
school every day. We talk. I did a good amend with her, and yeah. The only
And-
thing she was upset about was something I lied about. And that's all worked out now.
And you? How do you feel?
It was hard at first, man. I was like, I remember telling Tam, like, hey, fuck, I'm buying a house and I'm moving the kids there, and you can fucking, if you're down, we'll do this. And she's like, well, Max might not move there. I'm like, pardon me? The fuck he won't. Like, I'm the decider. I'm the dad, right? Do what I fucking say. I don't care. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't like shit. I'm his dad. Again, lots of people don't like things. And Tam was really patient with me. Like, I gently, kept letting me know, like, it might not be what he wants to do. And, he might be old enough to make his own decisions. And I fucking talk to sponsors, talk to friends in the program, and I come around to realize, like, yeah, like, actually, I don't know why I think I have to. It's like an ego thing, like, my boy, my house, right? Like, I should be able to, but really, like, Brian can give him a life I can't. Brian's got more means and that does cooler shit. Like, I'm busy. Like, we're, you know, I mean, I get it. And so it hurt my pride or something.
Mm-hmm.
What I want, and I told my boy, I'm like, really, I just want him to be happy. And if that makes him, he told Tam he doesn't trust us. And that I believe. So, like, yeah, if he's more comfortable with roots that are like, you know, a solid foundation. My brother's solid,
Mm-hmm.
right? Very predictable, very. And if that makes him happy, good. I'd rather he just be happy. Like, anything to make his life better. Like, I've done enough. I don't need to. Yeah. So,
You know what's interesting about your guys' story is typically kids will always like retrust really quickly, right? Whereas other family members may not. And like one of the lines that kind of comes to mind is, you know, 10 or 20 years of drunkenness would make a skeptic out of anybody. But it's your youngest boy who's not quite there and trusting you guys, right? And that's very humbling, I'm sure, right? The humility in that. And to see that this little boy has his own, like, way of wanting to navigate life so he can rebuild this trust, and you can't really take that away from him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really change it because it's his experience is his experience, and whatever happened in his psyche and his subconscious happened, and that's just the way it is right now, right? It's kind of a trip.
well, if I turn like, I don't blame him one bit.
No.
Like, of course, in my little world, in my movie, I'm like, fuck. But like, if I really look at that, like, yeah, absolutely. I'd be like, no, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd want, I get it, man.
Yeah. No, I get it too. And like with my daughters and my ex-wife, like I was very angry too. And, you know, I'd come home and they'd walk on eggshells and like, don't talk to dad kind of shit. And like all of the things that I did that I didn't think would affect them and all the beliefs that I had and how I was, it really did affect them. And I noticed that in recovery especially when it came to religion, because I fucking hated religious people. And I would always make fun of like Christian stuff or people that were overtly fucking religious. And then when I'm in recovery and now I'm talking about higher power and God and shit, and they were just so fucking angry at me for being like that. And I'm like, look what I had done to them, right? And, you know, that was a wake-up call where I was like, holy shit, you really affected them in a not a good way, in many ways, in a not a good way. But I guess the only thing that I could do like now, and which I've been doing, is try to live my best version of myself. And I can't really change what they're going to do in many respects, just like you. Mine are much older. But it brings me to my next question, because I can only change me. And the line in the book that really says that, there's a long period of reconstruction ahead. A mumbling of I'm sorry will not fit the bill at all.
Amen.
The reconstruction is us.
Yeah.
And as we let Creator do with us as he will, and we meet him there, and we at least acknowledge these things with the help of maybe like in your case where you're like, my kid, my house, moving in. And you have these people around you going, no, man, maybe it's not like that. And like, so looking within yourself and looking at your belief systems and me with my own and really extrapolating why am I so hard and fast in these areas? And like softening up, right? And softening up for a guy like you, yeah, pride is fucking gonna get hurt, right?
Yeah.
Because it's part of your and my identity, but it's the only way to go. And really, it's the way that our spirit really wants to go. It's just a bumpy fucking road getting there. But once we kind of get there, and it's well worth it, right? So what do you do like today in your recovery to really help you work on you so that you can break down these barriers?
Well, me, like I don't know, man. I've been rigid my whole life, like rigid. And like when I was younger, I was like basically a radical. Like I was wild and I had all kinds of ideas, and I was like, so like what I do now, I don't know, man. I don't know what God's changing me, and I don't know like I've been doing this work since I got in. I haven't been fucking around. I sponsor and I talk to people, and I everyone I work with is kind of like, I'll tell you what's up. I'll deal with people that have like huge like I deal with guys that are like, they say some wild racist shit, and I'm like, in my previous life I wouldn't even heard it. But when I'm working with another man, I can just see all this hate, and I see all this fucking beliefs, and I'm just like, holy fuck, right? Like I'm seeing, it's fucking wild. I'm seeing mirrors, right? And I'm seeing like shit like, oh man, I gotta let this go. I'm seeing the people like getting mad at their like how they're wrecking their families, and I'm able to see it live with other people doing it, and I'm like, fuck, I just know where I gotta pray, and I just know where I gotta dig in, and I see deeper and deeper where I'm fucking this up and how selfish I am. And not like I want to be. It's just like I'm blinded by my own beliefs, bro. Like, until very recently, I thought I had to run my kids into the dirt until they became what I, like my poor boy, I manned him up so fucking early when you were gone. Like, I was like, I don't care, boy, I got to work. Hurry up, get your shit together. Pack your lunch, get dressed, no time to, like, we don't have time to cry around here. We don't have time, And I kept doing that, and I kept thinking they had to be good at, like, I wasn't good at school, but I'm fucking riding my kids. I get a report card, and I'd be like, yeah, like, it's not like, couldn't you fucking do better? Like, I'm not trying to be mean, or, you know what I mean? I was never sad. I always just wanted them to, like, and I don't know why. I felt like they had to be something that, some idea, right? And I don't know, but I recently let go of that too. Like, they're just watching it's just watching others, and like, I know God's given me all these opportunities to see like exactly what I need to see, and I'm like, fuck, that's me, and I can't do that, right? And so, yeah, so until recently I thought kids are going to do what I say, and now I've like, why would they? Why the fuck would they? Why would a kid care about homework? Why would my son want to, like, I wouldn't. I ran away. I was already, like, my daughter, like, kind of, Tam and I sometimes look at each other with a mate, like, she's still there. She's way better than we were already. Like we're like, oh, okay. So far, so good. I don't know, like, why would I want to push them faster? I realize that whatever any self-will bullshit I'm going to impose on them isn't anything they want, and it's nothing I even want, and it's just going to make us at odds. If I just accept my kids how they are and treat them like, it's like that whole, that How It Works story, the guy that arranges the lights. Like, my whole life is like that. Every time, with every person I like, realizing that people are real people and not just like background characters in my fucking first-person shooter that I'm living in, blows my mind. And I just had to realize that with my kids too. Like, these are real people that have their real dreams, real goals, and I'm just here to fucking support them. I'm not here to fucking make them be good at math. I don't know, man. It just hit me. It just came to me, right? So I tried to parent like that. Like, my immediate reaction is, what the fuck? Like, kids aren't respecting my house. And then I always remember, like, why would they? Why would a fucking 15-year-old want to clean up garbage when she could be scrolling on her phone? I wouldn't. Like, I just have to keep reminding myself, like, the reality of the situation is just, my expectations are fucked. And it totally changes any kind of beef I have with kids. Like, it changes the way like, instead of taking shit personally. I don't know if that made any sense, but that's been huge for me.
And sponsorships have been a huge part of that.
Holy fuck. Absolutely, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit saved my life.
Yeah, bro. I hear you. And it allows you, like, I believe Creator knows where we're broken, and he knows where we're still broken.
Yeah.
And he knows, and he's going to bring the people in our lives through sponsorship and other ways that are able to help us heal those broken parts of us. And so he puts the mirrors in front of us. Exactly whatever it is I've ever needed to deal with, he's put that person right in my path. Dude, there's been people I've been like, what a fucking goof that guy is in the meeting. And then the guy comes up to me after the meeting. He's like, hey, can you sponsor me? And I'm like, fucking really? Jesus Christ. I'm like, yeah, of course I can. And, he's been my greatest teacher for however long that relationship lasted, right? And and like you talked about, you can't see past your own beliefs. You can't see self with self. And we need other people to show us those pieces of us and be willing to be able to hear them, because pride will kick it off to the side and we won't want to look at it. But, at least being able to lay down our weapons of pride and allowing somebody else fucking to say something. I learned that in about my 3rd year, but still learning it, right? So, and you, what do you do to look at or be the best version?
I have just let go of control. I want to be like in the program when we are drawn towards people we want, something we want like to be like. I do the same thing. I just fix myself, let go of control, and let them come to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't tell them what to do. I wait till they ask me, and then I'll give them advice. But I don't try to force things on them, and I don't expect them to listen. And
How do you look at yourself and what still needs to be rooted out or whatever?
self.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you're good at identifying your own selfishness?
Good at identifying my own selfishness. I try to be. I use pillars.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to people. Yeah, I stay connected to people, stay connected to the program, work my steps. Stephan's at the house, so we talk AA like all day, every day.
How does it work with having the kids as they're getting older, knowing they know you're in 12-step recovery and it's a way of life? Do you guys talk about 12-step recovery,
Oh,
or
yes.
do you just
Fuck yeah.
practice the principles?
No,
No, we
They
don't.
go to meetings.
I bring my kids with me to meetings. They know they know how I'm living. They know how I lived, and they see what I'm doing. I have guys over at my house. If the guy's not too wild, and I think if it got sideways, I could handle him, I'll let him come over to do work, right? And so they see me working with guys going through it, and they see what we're doing, and my kids are aware. Like,
Yeah, they
they
work.
like it. They
Yeah.
like what we're doing. We're doing good shit, and they know it, right? Same with Tam, like harm reduction and out there helping people and like all that, right? The kids get to see what the fuck we do.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then as you guys learn your lessons, do you extrapolate and give the example of how you learned the lesson in a hard way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very honest with them.
At first, it's very awkward because, like, when you live a life of bullshit, like you're trying to keep your. But like now, yeah, we're really like it. So at first it was tough, but like we don't like our kids will call us right out and be like, "Remember that time ISIS was like, were you guys cocaine users?" And the kids are there. They ask,
Yeah.
we just don't we tell them what's up. They ask, we tell them, or like sometimes we tell them before they even ask if we want to bring something up, man. Like
Yeah.
we don't keep no fucking mystery about where we were and what it's like and where we're at.
And if you white lied and you realize it, you'll bring it up and say, you know what, this is why I'm in the trouble I'm in.
Oh,
Yep.
that kind of
Yep.
shit. Yeah, for sure. Or like if I get a little rammy, I straight up will be like, oh, well, I got these fucking fears about money and I got this fucking thing about respecting my stuff in my house. And so I get a little excited and like I talk, like I do these little amends style, like I try to explain it in the AA way to my kids instead of just
The whole
burying
house
it.
is different now that
We
you're
don't
like
just,
that.
there's never really been just a sorry and there's no more like just not talking about it. We got to keep it.
The eggshells are
Yeah, we're
almost
trying
gone
to,
in our house
trying
now.
to deal with the eggshells, your
Yeah.
eggshells, my eggshells. Yeah.
I like that. The eggshells are almost gone.
Well, we have hard talks, bro, with our kids and with each other.
Yep.
We have
in
hard
front
talks
of the kids.
in front of the kids. Like we'll,
Not in front, but like we'll be there and they'll be.
we don't sit them down. And like,
Yeah,
watch
we're not
this.
like watch us fight.
We're in the kitchen. We don't fight.
We haven't actually.
We got into some disagreements.
Yeah.
That maybe sound like they sound like they're getting hot, but pretty quick we're like, okay, well, what are we actually like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in real time they get to see us night and day, bro. Like this is nothing like, yeah.
Okay. Fuck, this has been an awesome talk. I try to get my guests to share a message for somebody. Is there anyone in particular that you would each like to share a message to, whether it's another father or another, struggling addict or alcoholic or anyone? Would you each like to talk into that camera and just like what would your message be to somebody who, like you, can't get sober, tries and tries and tries and tries, and eventually you do. And now you live this amazing life and you're growing and learning. And some people never think that's going to happen to them, right?
I guess I would just trust the process. Might not seem like it's happening quick enough, but just do the steps, trust the process, let go of control, and it'll happen quicker than you think.
And don't ever give up.
And don't ever give up. Nope.
Okay. Stephan?
It's a tough question, man. Like, what would I say? I don't know.
To somebody maybe that has major anger issues. And
Oh,
who's
fuck.
fucking crazy.
Okay. I don't know how I would say it, but like, it feels amazing to find forgiveness in your life, right? And like, it's not weakness, right? Like, you can do this shit and you can be safe and you'll be all right. And being on the other side it's like emotion. I'm like emotional, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, what a difference. Like, my life was full of hate. Hate got me up in the morning, for real. Like, there is a way out, right? There's a way out, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's not weak. It feels that, I know it feels like you're being a bitch, right? I get that, all that pride and all that shit, but like, the second you just, yeah, man, forgiveness is wild. Mm-hmm. And it's not like, it's not for the other person. Like, I tell you that. I mean, it is now. Good lucky for them, right? But, or whoever, but like, fuck, what a freedom. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That's great. Okay, well, that was an awesome session. In between my little fucking flies flying around here, I got these plants that I don't know what the fuck these plants are doing, but I got to figure out because they're fucking growing these little flies and they're flying around pissing me off. Anyway, that was a great interview. I really appreciate both you guys for coming and thank you very, very, very much.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. I'd love to get you guys back, maybe on your own individual journeys here in the future. But yeah, I guess that'll be it from my studio today, and thank you both for coming.